Right, hey, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rekakodas. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he exists or he is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahushua, which means he is the deliverer. Okay. And we are the Hebrew Israelites. There's 12 tribes that consist of our nation. Today we're being called Negro, Black, Native American, Seminole Indian, Latin, Hispanic, white, Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, etc. But we're those people that make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. The self-proclaimed white man, he is not white, he's red. According to the Bible, they have a biblical nationality, which is Idumea, Esau, Edom, Mount Seir. And according to Bible prophecy, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Okay. And the Most High is definitely bringing great judgment on Babylon and great. We're just coming up. We're just coming up off the Day of Atonement. Okay. And we're sending up prayers to Yahweh Shem Shai, and we're putting curses on Babylon, man. Okay. And now look, right, this place is on government shutdown. This is from NBCnews.com. Government shutdown live updates. Right. White House says federal layoffs are imminent. Senate set to vote again Friday afternoon. Okay, and something to take note. The last time we had a shutdown was under Trump's last term as president. This is from USAtoday.com. No stranger to shutdowns. A look at Trump's history with government closures. A shattered government is familiar territory to Mr. Nero, whose first term saw 3 shutdowns. Right, this man first term had 3 shutdowns, including a 35-day closure spanning the end of 2018 into early 2019. It remains the longest in U.S. history. Okay, and we're still in a shutdown right now, and who knows how long that this is going to last. Right, Congress failed to pass new spending authority by the start of 10/1/2025, prompting a shutdown of the federal government, the fourth during the Trump presidency. A lot of good can come down from shutdowns, Trump told reporters in the White House a few hours before the deadline. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, okay? And this is going to cause more suffering, all right, upon Babylonians, Americans, more pain, right? As Trump said, maximum pain, right? Let me see what this is. Okay, that's that. Let's go here.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete.
And I would have loved to just send them a message to be like, hey guys, peace, good luck. Done. Dunzo. Send the Mac back. Put it in the mail today. That's what they said. Man, corporate is.
I really don't think a lot of people in corporate America really understand what's going to happen over the next 12 to 18 months, particularly at really large corporate companies. They're calling it the Great Restructuring.
Accenture just laid off 11,000 people, citing AI. I think it's just the beginning, unfortunately.
All right, so here we are.
There's a lot of people getting ready to lose their jobs to AI, just artificial intelligence. Okay, that's getting ready to put a lot of people on, you know, fucking unemployment, if they even could claim it.
More job losses happening right now. We saw the data come out. It wasn't great. And now we're fighting inflation or job losses. Pick your poison. We got the shutdown coming. We got mass layoffs, and we got AI doing a lot of business that's hurting a lot of people. And the Federal Reserve is picking one over the other, and they're starting to lower interest rates because they know they're in trouble. Let's jump into this. We're hearing from people that are actually getting laid off right now, and it is mind-boggling. And some companies are saying we got to cut employees, the number one cost of our business, because we got to increase profit. This is wild.
It is confirmed. My company just sent out an email that they're laying off a large group of people tomorrow morning. In case you're new here, I was laid off in March this year. It took me 6 months to find a new job. Got a new job 7 weeks ago, and now this new job has announced hundreds of layoffs.
More pain and suffering. As the scripture says, there shall be no work for Egypt. AI is getting ready to take a lot of these people jobs. So we're living in the days of where these prophecies are coming to pass, such as the ventures failing, because we see a lot of women losing their jobs, mainly, the Israelite woman, but it's affecting all of these Babylonians.
What? What am I supposed to do here? Is this like a last one in, first one out situation? Is it like get rid of all the like highest paid people? Is it like keep the new hires because they were hired under a secret pretense of like knowing that these layoffs would be coming, and so we like definitely want the new people? That's gotta be it, right? I'm not even eligible for my corporate benefits. That's how little time I've been at this new job. I'm not even eligible for PTO. I'm not eligible for medical benefits yet. I still have a week to go. You're telling me that I might get laid off before I even get a chance to sign up for that shit? Part of me is
This sounds pre-planned. What do you think? Comments down below. I want to know all of your thoughts. I think a lot of this is a little this and a little that.
Move quick in the tech world. Like, just got off a Zoom call not even 15 seconds ago. My computer restarts. Now it's locked. They're just so impersonable about the way they do this. Like, there was a really good number of colleagues that I worked with on this team that I actually really enjoyed working with. And I would have loved to just send them a message to be like, hey guys, peace, good luck. Donezo. Send the Mac back. Put it in the mail today, bitch. That's what they said. Man, corporate is in some ways it
A
feels
lot of people are starting to leave America because they're starting to see, or they're starting to realize that, what the men of the Lord have been saying for decades, now is true. It's starting to happen. This is from BBC News. Federal workers layoffs will start imminently, White House says, of U.S. government shutdown. White House spokeswoman Carolyn Levitt says federal workers could start losing their jobs very soon, within 2 days, and the U.S. government shutdown continues. Vice President Vance also joined the briefing saying he doesn't know how long the shutdown will last and blaming congressional Democrats for the funding gap, as Democrats also blame Republicans. How did we get here? So they're playing the blame game, right? So that right there is division. This is Matthew 12. Going to go down to 25. All right, and this is the Berean literal Bible, Matthew 12 and 25. And having known their thoughts, he said unto them, every kingdom having been divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house having been divided against itself will not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How long then will his kingdom stand? That's what's happening, with the Dems and Republicans. All right. Now you should know That just two different wings of the same bird, but the way they're making it seem as if they're playing the blame game. When it's all, going according to plan, right? But it's still showing you how they're divided, how this kingdom is divided, and the divided kingdom will not stand. Back in this article, Mr. Nero, Mr. Donald Duck threatens irreversible mass layoffs as Republicans and Democrats are blaming each other for the shutdown, right? Thousands of federal employees face unpaid leave, but some essential workers still on the job face losing out on pay. Politicians in Congress will still be paid. One federal worker in the U.S. prison system tells the BBC, "Holding on to our pay until they come up with a compromise is toying with millions of lives." Exactly. Okay, and we're coming up upon the cold weather winter months where a lot of people start getting sick. You need to have your heat on. So it's not a good time to be without a job. Even the Lord said, pray that your flight uh, be not in the winter. But this is why the Lord said, come out of her, come out, spiritually. Of course, you may not have the means to actually leave, but there's nothing for you here. This is it. You know, Esau has had his time to rule. He knows that he had got a short time left. This is why he's getting ready to come down with great wrath against the Israelites. Right? This is why the persecution is so heavy against so-called black and brown people, because you are the Israelites.
It's like, it feels like this weird existential punishment. Like, I don't know what I did in a past life. I know I'm doing great things in
It's
this.
the spirit, because I didn't watch this whole video, but that's the curses, you know, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right, well, actually, it's in Baruch. In past life, we went to worship other gods. So this whole life we're living is essentially a punishment. This is Baruch chapter 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High. It's talking about the Bible. Okay, and when you read the book of Maccabees, it tells you about the war with the Greeks, and the Israelites, how they had to fight to prevent them from becoming Hellenized. Because at that time, Antiochus, he tried to force them to become Greeks by stop circumcising. Some of our men of our nation even went so far as to do what's called a reverse epispasm, you know, which is foreskin restoration. Because according to our covenant, the Lord gave Abraham, the men of our nation supposed to be circumcised on the eighth day. Okay, so to fit in with these damn Greeks, a lot of people of our nation, men, they went to so far as to get an epispasm, which is pretty much a circumcision in reverse, you know. But in the book of Maccabees, to tell you how the heathen, they opened scriptures and they wanted to put their images in. That's why you got the image of Jesus, you know, which also goes back to Serapis Christus, but that's why you got these images. They finally was able to do it during the time of the Renaissance. This is not the Most High. This is actually an idol or demon. To this day, a lot of our people, they still have that image up. You know, mainly the Northern Kingdom. You know, Baruch 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, the Israelites, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated, which means enlightened. So Illuminati is not a bad word. It just means enlightened ones, which the true enlightened ones are the children of Israel, starting with the elect. 3, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. Now people have done that by voting. You know, don't forget you had niggas for Trump, you know. You actually had this, you know. Niggas for Trump 2024. Okay. Hispanics for Trump, you know, Latinos for Trump. So a lot of our people, they put their trust in this man. Latinos for Trump. That's the northern and the southern kingdom. All right. So a lot of our people, they put their trust in this man, and now look how you're being repaid. You know, Luke 4 and verse 3, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. That's any other nation on this earth. You know, putting them up as to be a ruler over you, you know. I think that's in Deuteronomy. Yep, Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy power shall choose, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee, right? Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. And that's essentially what you're doing by voting, you know? Luke 4 and verse 4, O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us, right? We know, you know, what the Most High wants to see us doing down here, which is following the law, statutes, commandments. We know how to please Him, what He expects out of us, you know? We know the things that we should be doing and what not to do, right? The other nations were not shown that, you know? This is Psalms 147 and 19, right? He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel, right? That's a bring up the whole verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known him. Praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. But that would set us apart because we know, Luke 4 and 4, O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. 5. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. So that's your transatlantic slave trade or your triangular slave trade, you know, auction blocks, you know, 1619, you know. But because ye moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto your enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High. So that's essentially that's what we did in our past life. And for that, we're paying for that punishment now, you know.
This current life, like maybe in a past life before I was reincarnated into this one, maybe I did wrong, and it feels like they've chained me to this desk as punishment and retribution.
Right, because we're subject under payments. So it's like you have to have a job. You're pretty much a slave to like a, 40-hour work week. Some cases you got to work damn near 60 hours, and some people are putting in all these hours, but they have to live out their vehicle. They even have a roof over their head, you know. They're living out a vehicle, and then you got to get a gym membership so you can take showers and, you know, take care of your hygiene and stuff. So this place is hell.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can do is kind of like laugh and cry and laugh. That's like kind of my shtick, you know? Anyways.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down to your exact address in just seconds.
It is wild how fast they can just get rid of people, you know, and with the excuse of AI being able to replace you, they've got no reason to just hold off. And it's going to be even worse in the future. Let's hear what this guy's saying.
Accenture just laid off 11,000 people citing AI. I think it's just the beginning, unfortunately. And I also don't think it's just because of AI efficiency within Accenture itself, but I actually think it's because the efficiency gains from AI in their clients. So their clients are becoming more efficient. They need Accenture less and less. That is resulting into Accenture doing these layoffs. They do warn that they are expecting additional layoffs due to AI. So I think it's really only the beginning. The whole AI layoffs has just begun.
I mean, this is every sector. Even real estate's talking about it. But I do wonder, is it a tad bubble? Is it a tad premature? Are we going too fast with this? Because a large part of the S&P 500 right now is tech AI related. This is going to be very interesting. Hopefully, this is not a .com boom and bust.
Wake up, scroll on TikTok, get coffee, checking emails to see we regret to inform you, locking in and applying to more jobs, refreshing LinkedIn.
Hey, if you have a job right now, even though you catch hell on these jobs and, sigh and cry to y'all about Shem Shai, that's really a blessing. A lot of people are not working. So a lot of people are homeless, so you have to count your blessings. A lot of people don't have food. A lot of people are fucked up, but, the men of the Lord, their families, the friends of the prophet, how about Shem Shai is taking care of them, sustaining them. So it continue to send up those prayers, man, be appreciative because a lot of these people, man, they're going through the ringer. Okay, but we've been going through shit, man. So hey, the Most High is putting hell on these people.
Been ghosted, fresh up nap, applied to more jobs.
And it's not like you can just do DoorDash or none of that stupid shit because you ain't gonna make no money like that, and you just beating your car down. And a lot of those people are getting carjacked. I went to the store the other day, and this dude was in there. I guess he was doing Instacart or something. And but he left his car on. He went back out. His car was gone.
Eat, dinner, scroll some more on TikTok, and then sleep.
I get she's being funny, and I think this is becoming a thing, but like she's got some nice stuff behind her. Aren't you worried about making money, or is everybody just that well off? Because I know if I was on
And the westernized woman is completely done because they have the mindset if they don't need a man or they don't respect men, they're better than men, they're stronger mentally than men. They don't want to cooperate with a man. Or if they do have a man, that he has to make fucking $7 million, be 10 feet tall. You know, he has to be fucking perfect. You know, meanwhile she's 7 kids and 6 different men. You know,
Lloyd, I'd be like, well, we gotta get a move on this. There's no TikToking, there's no scrolling, there's no going to the gym. It's like might do that for a day or two, but we gotta get the move on to get the plan on to do some milk money. Okay. And that's what I tell Jack. We gotta go get some milk money. It's always great to hear what people are saying in the comments section.
all right, pause this video. This is from Isaiah 19, and this is Good News Translation. It says, the Most High will punish Egypt. And that's, code word for Babylon the Great, which is the US of A. It says, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, is coming to Egypt, riding swiftly on a cloud. And that's, what you would call a UFO, you know. You know, so that's how the Lord is coming back on those father ships, what you would call UFO, UAP. Okay, and it's gonna be something that the whole world takes note of. It ain't gonna be like Esau can pull out one of his telescopes and tell you what day the Lord coming. You're not gonna be able to pinpoint the day of the rapture, right? Because in the scriptures there is no rapture anyway. Rapture. Americans think they're just gonna, Christianize Americans. The fake ones. You know, not of Israelite descent. They think they're just going to flow into the sky without going through anything. But certain prophecy that must come to pass and be fulfilled before the elect are even delivered out of here. You know, this is back in Isaiah 19 and verse 1. The Lord is coming to Egypt riding swiftly on a cloud. The Egyptian idols tremble before him, and the people of Egypt lose their courage. Right? These people they're gonna lose they're gonna lose their minds. A lot of them gonna die for heart attacks. Verse 2. The Lord says, I will stir up civil war in Egypt and turn brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor. And this whole thing with Mr. Kirk, the captain, you know, that was a catalyst to stir up that civil war, right? This whole government shutdown, the left blaming the right blaming the left. That showed you division. That's more fueling the fires of that civil war because they're going to keep poking, all right, at these everyday American Edomites until they rise up. They're going to be the ones to set it off. The Israelites, they're just sitting back right now. Scripture calls them an old lion, who shall rouse them up. But most are going to put the spirit to rouse up Judah too. Then the northern kingdom's going to follow along because they're going to realize, well, damn, we got a same common enemy. ISIS oppressing us, and the cops, troops are oppressing you. Isaiah 19 and 2. Rival cities will fight each other, and rival kings will struggle for power. I'm going to frustrate the plans of the Egyptians and destroy their morale. Right, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Most are going to totally destroy their morale, their leadership. The things that they're doing now pretty much only want Edomite men, okay, and the military that got to be clean shaven. They will ask their idols to help them, and they will go and consult mediums and ask the spirits of the dead for advice. But none of the sacrifices they do, speaking of, familiar spirits, all your demonic sacrifices you're doing, that's not going to help you. I will hand the Egyptians over to a tyrant, to a cruel king who will rule them. And that's what's happening right now with Mr. Trump during the shutdown. Like I said, last time this man was in office, the shutdown lasted 35 days. So who knows how long this shutdown could last. People are losing their jobs, Put something in the chat. Let me see. I put how what will happen to Babylonians during the shutdown, federal workers and contractors, furloughs, hundreds of thousands of federal employees in non-essential roles will be sent home without pay. Past shutdowns, they often got back later, but not guaranteed. Essential staff, military, TSA, air traffic controllers, border patrol, they will keep working, but likely without pay until Congress resolves the crisis. So you can expect protests, all kind of shit, uproars of the people. All right. See, the thing with you Babylonians, y'all are docile. People in Nepal, France, they're uproar. they're in the uproar over there. Okay. And I believe the latest one is in Morocco. Yep. Check this out. Morocco youth protests turned Delhi and two are deleted. So all over throughout the world, these people protesting, shit is happening, but you damn Babylonians, man. Okay, y'all are real docile. All right. Most sides, something's going drastic is going to have to happen for y'all to get in that spirit of Egyptian against Egyptian. Because these other people on the earth, they're not dealing with that shit. You know, that's why it says second Acts 9, there shall be uproars of the people. It says, essential staff, military, TSA, air traffic controllers, border patrol, etc. They will keep working, but likely without pay until Congress resolves the crisis. That creates hardships for families living paycheck to paycheck, which is pretty much the whole of Babylon. Okay, very small percentage of people are not living a paycheck. Even if you have a good, you think you're making some decent money, you still living paycheck to paycheck because a lot of these people, they want to keep up with Joneses. They don't know how to necessarily live in their means. They're trying to impress somebody with social media, you know? Uh, Contractors, many contractors, janitors, cafeteria workers, IT staff usually do not receive back pay for them shutdown, which is lost wages. Okay? Many great miseries upon Babylonians, man. Two, ordinary Babylonians and families delay in services, passport visa processing slows to stop. SBA, Small Business Administration loans, housing loans, and permits are delayed. ISA customer service halts, refunds may be delayed. Safety net, Social Security, Medicare keep going. There are mandatory funding. SNAP, food stamps usually continue for a limited time, but extended shutdowns risk interruptions. All right. WIC, nutrition for women and children, is often one of the first programs threatened. Education and health programs, funding uncertainty can trickle down to schools, universities, research lab, and community health services. Right? It says economy and markets confidence shaken. Shutdowns hurt markets and consumer confidence. Right? Investors worry about instability in the world's largest economy. GDP growth. Each week of shutdown caused billions in lost productivity. Prolonged shutdowns can tip the economy toward recession. So this is only going to further hurt this country. And another aspect is that during the shutdown, it stops or halts food inspections. The scriptures already says that they shall eat the bread defiled among the Gentiles. So any way you slice it, the Most High is bringing extreme judgment on this place and the people. All right, that refuse to come out of her. The 2/3 non-elect. Right, you Edomites. The curses are being put on y'all. You know, this is Second Esdras 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in because they have walked in great pride. And one of those miseries is starvation, lack of food, water, shelter, you know, that mental stress to where people are just offing themselves and their children, you know. Go back to this video.
They're talking about outsourcing, and a lot of them may be lying. AI not as efficient to lay people off as they think they are, and they're just outsourcing it. Are we saying it's AI, but we're really just going and getting some people from the Philippines? I know a couple companies doing that right now because you can hire somebody from the Philippines with a master's degree for like $10 an hour. No health insurance, no benefits. And that's what a lot of these companies are doing, which I wonder how it's not illegal. We've always said like a New York firm can poach talent from like Northwest Florida, pay them more than anybody in Northwest Florida, and they can operate over the internet. How is this stuff supposed to all play out? This is going to be very interesting.
I really don't think a lot of people in corporate America really understand what's going to happen over the next 12 to 18 months.
Enter the trading arena and go from the bullpen to the bull market. Turn data into sharper decisions.
Particularly at really large corporate companies. They're calling it the Great Restructuring. And essentially what they're doing is looking at each position, each role within the company, and looking at what the processes are and seeing where the repetitive work is. And they're figuring out whether or not they can augment or even replace positions with technology, with AI. And so if you're doing a job that has a lot of repetitive tasks, or maybe you're working on a lot of cross-functional teams and you're working on projects that are taking years and years, companies are actively looking at how they can replace you. They're looking about how they can get the same amount of work or more work done with less people. You see, the most expensive part of any company is the people. And that's why we see these mass layoffs. And so over the next 12 to 18 months, we are going to continue to see large layoffs. So if you're working at a really big company or you know someone who is, you need to pay attention to this. You need to figure out whether or not you're doing a lot of repetitive work. And if you are, you need to know that you are at high risk of getting laid off. It's absolutely.
A lot of these jobs is getting ready to go down the drain. And you know, when they're replacing truckers with driverless 18-wheelers is bad. And a lot of these people with commercial driver license, they're unable to find work. Okay, but that's like the bloodline of Babylon right there. So that shows you the state that this country is in. You know, this is back in Isaiah 19, Good News Translation. Jump down to 14. It says the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai made them give confusing advice. As a result, Egypt does everything wrong and staggers like a drunk slipping in its own vomit. And that's exactly what's happening with the tariffs. The tariffs are not helping Babylon. It's just another tax on the people, you know, and soon it's going to lead to hyperinflation because people are already complaining about the cost of living. They can't afford rent, food, you know, uh, lights and the gas and electric, you know. No one in Egypt, rich or poor, or important or unknown, can offer help. I'm going to go to the KJV, right? KJV says there shall be no work, you know. Right, this is the KJV. I'm actually going to start at verse 5, Isaiah 19:5. It says, and the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brook shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. You know, that's twofold. That's going to happen ultimately when the nukes hit. This place ain't going to never be inhabited again. Only be fit to dwell in by certain creatures. But also the Most High is drying it up. You know, economy collapse, government shut down, no more jobs, no future. 8. The fishes shall mourn, and they shall cast anger into the brooks, and they that cast anger in the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Another sign that these people getting ready to suffer, because even back then it says Peter and I believe John were fishermen. That's a very lucrative business, you know. But even that's going to dry. Even today, carpenters, fishermen, you know. Now, and moreover, they that work and find flax and they that weave networks shall be confused. You know, even it's going to even affect these, you know, streamers, content creators. You know, because you got to think, well, what happens when they hit, you know, the power, right? And they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, and all that make sluices, and ponds for the fish, right? Jump down to 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail or branch or rush may do. So a lot of people getting ready to lose everything. You know, they're gonna have to bring people to their knees in order to force them or coerce them to take the rights device, because that's the next step. We see what's happening in Britain. No one can work, all right, unless they have that digital ID. It's not more than a stepping stone, all right, to coerce you to take in the rights device, all right, which is the charagma of Revelation 13:16 on down, which that is a physical mark, you know. 16. In that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushua hosts, which he's shaking over. And that's what's happening right now. The Most High is shaking over it, sending these plagues, you know. Good. See what happens in the video.
Martin Luther King said that a leader is not a searcher of. You're not going to believe what happened. Tell me everything. I'll show you on Monday.com. So I started the biggest initiative of the. Not a searcher of consensus, they're a molder of consensus. This country needs to shut down and you all need to suffer. I told you to go on a general strike. You know what you said? I have a job. I can't afford to. I have a job. I can't afford to. I can't afford to. That's cool. Great. So now you're going to be forced to be uncomfortable. You're going to be forced to lose your job. You were unwilling to be uncomfortable.
This is for any Democratic congressman out there with any balls or a spine. Shut it down. The government isn't functioning anyway. Everything we need is gone. $20 billion to Argentina. Who approved that? Who voted for that?
That's why it says in Ecclesiastes, they that look out the windows shall be darkened. People are starting to see, man, that this ain't it. I could live a better life living abroad. And what really exposed that is when TikTok shut down for that period of time. A lot of people hopped on another app that was similar to TikTok called Red Note. And right in the other nations, pretty much Moab, China, was telling them how they get free healthcare and they get benefits of this, and there's not much homeless here. So people are seeing that this place is the real third world country.
How did
It's acting like it's not. They were calling it a third world country with a Gucci bag.
Congress give up their Article 1 power? And Mike Johnson will not swear in the Congresswoman from Arizona? What, she might vote to release the Epstein files?
I think when I say this, I speak for most people. Shut it down. Shut it the down. Shut it down.
And this is an old video. We're currently in the shutdown. Where it's going to, people are losing their jobs. And they're going to stop inspecting your food, all of that.
Shut it down.
Folks, we're headed for a government shutdown next week, so be sure to like, share, comment, repost, do all of the things and get this out there because this administration, led by Mango Mussolini, wants to, quote, inflict maximum pain. Charming.
Especially on the Israelites. That's why in all the major cities where the Israelites dwell, it's being compassed about with armies. That's what the Lord was speaking about. I believe that's in Luke. This is Luke 21. And 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem, that's talking about the Israelites, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, that's why you got the troops, all right, compassing these major cities, such as Chicago, DC, etc. Then know that the desolation of is not, right? They're getting ready to roll on our people. That's why it's called the time of Jacob's trouble,
If we can endure any more than we are now?
The Babylonian Empire. Oh my goodness.
As the spirit people starting to identify this place with Babylon the Great,
Americans. Millions of federal workers won't get their paychecks. National parks and museums will close. But here's the thing, tens of thousands of federal employees, including airport security staff, air traffic controllers and the military, still have to go to work without pay. Social security payments could be delayed too. We've seen...
You still have to go to work, but you're not being paid. That's what a lot of people are going through right now,
before, but this one could hit differently. The White House has asked federal agencies to prepare plans for mass layoffs. We're not talking about temporary furloughs where workers come back once the government reopens. These would be permanent. Bear in mind that about 300,000 federal workers have already been laid off or left their jobs this year. So the stakes are high and the odds don't look good. Congress last agreed a spending bill back in early 2024. Since then, they've just rolled over existing spending. Even that looks unlikely to pass this time. It would end key healthcare subsidies, so Democrats say they won't vote for it. President Trump cancelled a meeting with leading Democrats this week. In 2018, Trump walked away from negotiations in his first term. The result, a 34-day shutdown, the longest in U.S.
First one's a 34, I believe, actually 35-day shutdown. So who knows how long this shit could last,
history. Now the clock is ticking and millions of Americans are about to feel the impact.
Let me be very clear about the president and the White House's position. All we are asking for is a common sense, clean funding resolution, a continuing resolution to keep the government open. This is a bill that keeps the government funded at the exact same levels as today, just adjusted for inflation. So there is zero good reason for the Democrats to vote against this, especially when the Democrats have voted for this 13.
How they playing the blame game. Right? They're just two wings with the same damn bird, right? They give you this illusion that your vote matters. Your vote don't matter. These people are pre-selected, you know?
Previous times as recently as March. And so this is the reasonable and common sense thing to do. The president is giving Democrat leadership one last chance to be reasonable, to come to the White House today to try to talk about this. And now is not the time to try to get political points against Donald Trump. Now is the time to do right by the American people and keep the government funded. Our most vulnerable in our society and our country will be impacted by a government shutdown. Everybody knows this, and that's why Republicans and the president want to keep the government open, and we welcome Democrats to join us in that effort.
3 days. And if things don't change, well, it's going to impact a lot of people's lives. Number one, thousands of federal employees will be either furloughed or completely fired, losing their jobs for indefinite periods of time. Some will be fired completely by the Trump administration. In addition, many military families will be impacted because they too may be placed on furlough. National parks will close pretty soon thereafter a government shutdown begins. Eventually, if it lasts long enough, critical programs like Medicare could be impacted in terms of enrollment. And that's not all. The longer it goes, you theoretically could have reduced TSA presence at airports, which means longer wait times at airports, and so much more. Government shutdown is now 3 days away. The federal government is funded through September 30th. If they don't reach a deal, Republicans, Democrats, well, it's going to shut down on October 1st. And right now, all signs point to a government shutdown beginning at midnight on October 1st. So spread the word because this is important. Follow along, stay updated on all the news you need to know about. I will have much more to come.
But this one is cool. You basically connect your Shopify account and it's able to pull in your product catalog. And then from there,
very soon.
Martin Luther King said that a leader is not a searcher of consensus, they're a molder of consensus.
This is Isaiah 47 and verse 1. It says, "Lament for Babylon." And that's exactly what these people are going to start doing, especially Esau. You know, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. All right, that's the U.S. of A. And the dust represents confusion. You know, a lot of these people, mainly our people, niggas for Trump, Latinos for Trump, they put this man in here like he was going to improve their lives. You know, but life has only got worse for the, Babylonians. You know, and that dust represents confusion. You know, oh, come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground, which means what? Humiliation. You know, got my sword. Right here in the ledger, it says, to sit in the dust or on the ground was a sign of subservience and humiliation. So that's what's being done to Babylon. Most High is bringing it low. You know, Babylon, the mighty nation that achieved special status among the other nations of the world, once tender and delicate, will be put in a position of shame. You know, so that's what's happening. Most High is bringing complete shame upon this place. Shame for spewing on Esau's glory. You know, 2, take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yet thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. This Most High smiting this place with plagues, but they only going to increase. Okay, and the true believers, you know, what manner of spirit you should be in. You should be in the spirit of just hoping, trusting in Yahweh Shem Shai. Yeah, you may not have this or that, but at the end of the day, the Most High said he would take care of, the believers anyway. So Lord will not be part of that number. This is Ecclesiasticus of Sirach 25 and 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. So the fact that we're alive to see this and able to comprehend and understand it and call upon Yahweh Shem Shai, that's a great blessing, and also honor, because a lot of our people don't know what the hell is going on. It's Revelation 18 and 20, and I'll end it here. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High had avenged you on her. So yeah, the birth pains, they're just starting, but it's gonna get worse. And the cherry on top is the nukes. You gotta think the Most High gonna give some of his men power, to put Esau to flight, to destroy them. Okay? So these plagues are only going to increase. The Lord did say, I will lay vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. So it's going to get very violent out here. All right. People are going to get more angry. People are going to start protesting. All right. You're going to have Egyptian against Egyptian, and shall be found no more at all. So with that, I pray this has been edifying, informative. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak with us. Say shalom to the hopeful elect.